Hi, my name is Deb Engstrom, and I'm with the First United Methodist Church congregation, a part of Justice Matters. And I serve on the Jail Alternatives Steering Committee for their research. And I'm here today to talk a little bit about some experiences I've had with the jail and the system, who stays in jail and who doesn't, and how those decisions are made. Um, I'm a mom who's had kids in the system. I'm a teacher who's had students in the system. I've also had friends who have had children in the system. So I'm pretty familiar with how this all works. Just a couple of things I want to lift up today. One is that within the last 2 weeks, I've done some court watches, and what I observed was that these people were in the jail, having just been arrested. They were making their first appearance, and bond was being set. And the judge had the option of releasing them on their own recognizance, which is commonly referred to as an OR bond, or setting a cash bond. And two gentlemen in particular stood out to me. One of them was pleading for an own recognizance release or an OR bond. He said, I have a house, I have a family, I have a job, and even spending 2 or 3 days in jail would totally derail his life. And he said, I will lose everything again. The other gentleman had pretty much the same plea for the judge. Their criminal activity were very similar. One received an OR bond and one did not. And I think as I look at those two gentlemen, I see that keeping one or both of them in jail did not do anything to improve public safety in our community. So one gentleman got out, went back to work. The second one probably lost his job and may have lost his home, and then spiraled downhill from there. So that the second thing I want to lift up is the more people are getting out of jail on their own recognizance because of the pandemic, and that's a good thing. However, there are some who are not and who are in jail or in other circumstances awaiting trial. And because of the pandemic, our trials are, according to Judge McCabria in the Journal World, a year behind, backlogged for a year. So the people who are in those situations are going to be in them for a long time. And their lives are kind of in limbo and at a standstill until their trial moves forward or their case is resolved. So this is because of social distancing. There's not the availability for that in the courthouse. So just recently, they've started having some trials and hearings at the fairgrounds where there is room for social distancing. But even so, they're still about a year behind. So these are things that our committee is concerned about and will be bringing up to our public officials at the Justice Matters Action Assembly, which will be on May 3rd at 6:30 at the fairgrounds. It'll be a drive-through, drive-up, COVID-safe event. And we really need a lot of community support to improve our systems and to show that we're united in these in making these requests of our officials. So we hope to see a lot of people there, and we'll continue to do justice in Lawrence.
As you see, we're right here in the Douglas County Judicial Law Enforcement Center. And why is Stephen Barbie and Kirsten here today? Once again, we're keeping you abreast of what's going on here in Lawrence, Kansas, especially dealing with Justice Matter and the changes that we're making, not only for us, but for you and those that live in Douglas County, Kansas.
Last year, when the county was talking about jail expansion, they told us it was not possible to address overcrowding with just jail alternatives and diversion. Then the pandemic happened, and all of a sudden, we emptied our jail overnight without compromising public safety. Now that we finally stopped talking about jail expansion, we can start talking about reducing and eliminating the misuse of our jail. We all want to make sure that no one is locked up necessarily. And so today we are wondering why there are so many people who could be released but are here again after this pandemic. We want to make sure that our return to normal does not include a return to mass incarceration. County jails are the front door to the mass incarceration crisis in America.
You know, we think about mass incarceration, of course, we always say time and time, you think about the prisons or you think about the district court. But you know, mass incarceration actually begins in municipal court. When you think about those as they have FTA, like, well, what is the FTA? You know, failure to appeal. You know, those that may forget that they have another court date, or because of job obligation, they can't take off work and they have to miss their court date. Or some may be because of child care, or they may actually be sick. But the sad part about it, we talk about jail alternatives. I believe a solution, or one of the solutions to the problem, would be, what about weekend court? What about night court? Or even what about, because we have all experienced Zooms, right, during this pandemic, how about having more Zoom dockets? That way it can meet the needs of the people and then alleviate that failure to appear. Did you realize here in Douglas County, 21% are just incarcerated based upon failure to appear? You know how many that is? That's over 3,400 bookends into the Douglas County Jail. You talk about a waste of funds. We can do better with our funds here in Douglas County. And I believe Justice Matter is on the cutting edge to bringing change to mass incarceration.
The situation here is outrageous. We do not need to be keeping many of the people who are currently in our jail there. Public safety can be served by addressing failure to appear in municipal court within Douglas County. We can hold our officials accountable, but we need to show up to do so. So that is why we are here to tell you we're doing the work, we're fighting the good fight, but we need you to show up for the action on May 3rd. Thank you.